Today, it's my pleasure to be joined by Shakira, a world-renowned music icon, a YouTube sensation, and a philanthropist, for a very special interview. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, the next question comes from Ron's in Venezuela and asks, Shakira, what has been the most difficult moment in your musical career?
I suppose the beginnings, when I was 13, in Colombia, which was a country, which is a country that back then didn't have a pop scene, or at least a local pop scene, you know. Most of the music that was playing on radio, music generated by local artists, was folkloric music, you know, tropical music. But I wanted to do rock, I wanted to do pop songs, and that didn't have an outlet at that time. So it was very difficult. I was very young, and being a woman also in this business is not easy. Thank God I had an amazing family surrounding me, supporting my dreams, encouraging me. And as soon as I graduated from high school, I graduated very young, when I was 15, I decided to move to the capital, to Bogota, to pursue my dreams, my career. And so I told my parents, guys, I'm leaving. I have to make it happen. And my mom said, you leaving? I'm going with you. And so she came with me to Bogota, and I remember that those beginnings were quite hard, you know, to convince my record company to be listened. Yeah. You know, being so young and having already so many ideas and certain criteria too, you know. It wasn't easy to be respected, to earn the respect.
Well, we did get a lot of other questions about your educational work, your philanthropic work with One Goal and the Barefoot Foundation. And this is a top-voted question about education, and it's from Kareem in Egypt. And he asks, what motivated you to join One Goal? Was it an unfortunate personal experience or just a personal conviction of the importance of education? Do you think education for all has a bearing on world peace?
I'm convinced that education is the key to world peace. And I don't say this because someone told me, or I've heard it from the experts, or I've read it. I mean, I'm a student in all these issues related to education. I am learning every day more and more, and I get more and more answers that convince me of how urgent it is to invest on education for all. But I've also seen it with my own eyes, you know, working in Colombia in the field since I was 18 years old. You know, I decided to establish my foundation in Colombia, and since then we've been building schools in areas where there's conflict or extreme poverty, and whenever we see that there are children without opportunities to access education. We not only build schools but also provide quality, high-quality education, accompanied with the nutritional component, which is so essential, so key for our models to succeed. And I am convinced that education is the tool that will unlock every kid's talents and potentials. And I'm convinced that education is the best deal for everyone, for the rich countries and for poor countries. I mean, when we invest in kids' potentials and talents, we are securing a safer world. We are preventing these kids from joining criminal groups or gangs or terrorist groups. We are preventing illnesses such as HIV/AIDS and so many other illnesses, especially educating women as well, which is so important. By providing education, we're boosting economy, and isn't that what every government in the world wants? You know, that every country's economy does well. Absolutely. Well, the answer to that is educating our children, because just 1 year of primary education signifies that kid in his adult life or her adult life will be able to earn 10 to 20% more in salaries and wages, you know, when they grow up. So that means that education really is a powerful tool to generate income, but beyond all that, it's the only way we can guarantee a world in peace, a world in which everyone feels that they have the same opportunities, you know. And the reason why I got so involved is because, you know, I grew up in Colombia, and Colombia is a developing country where a lot of people don't have access to the most basic needs, and where education is considered a luxury, unfortunately, because we all know that education is a birthright. And I just grew up frustrated seeing how many people weren't able to realize their own dreams, you know. When I was 8 years old, my dad underwent an economic crisis, a financial crisis, you know. He lost his business, and we struggled economically for many years. We lost our car, we lost our furniture, and I remember vividly the day I walked in my house and all the furniture was gone because my dad had to pay his debts. And it was quite, shocking for me, you know. I was 7, 8 years old, and when I saw this, I was so frustrated, and I'm so upset with my parents because I couldn't understand how they did so poorly in business, you know. I'm like, why? You know, I couldn't get it. And my dad and my mom took me to the park, where they showed me other kids my age sniffing glue. They were orphans. They had no one to watch after them, and they were barefoot, and they were abandoned to their own luck. And it probably left such an impression in my impressionable mind at that age that I remember that day, and I remember that I made myself a promise. I said to myself, Shakira, you have to succeed, because you have to ride in a car again one day, you know. You have to get your own car someday. And I wanted to vindicate my parents socially and economically, and I also wanted to someday do something for those kids who I saw that day in the park. So as soon as I had my first big success with Pés Descalços, which was my third album, I decided to establish my own foundation and do my own contribution to the change, even if it was going to be a small one. But I wanted to be active. And that's how it all started, you know, going through my own financial struggle and the struggle of my family, and understanding that the one thing that I never lacked was care, protection, and an education. And that's probably what made me thrive in life. And you know, when I see kids in Colombia and everywhere around the world, I see my own face in them. I see my own dreams. I know that no kid in Colombia or anywhere in the world is dreaming right now about becoming a drug trafficker, or dreaming about becoming an assassin or a criminal. Kids dream about noble things. They dream about becoming teachers or doctors or scientists or firemen, you know. And it's us who don't provide them with those opportunities so they can live dignified lives, you know. As Rousseau once said, men are born good, but society corrupts them. And I believe in men. I believe, well, not in men, but men, you gotta be careful about. But I believe in human nature. I believe in the kindness of it, but I believe that if we don't provide people with opportunity, especially at a very early stage, when we have the chances to do so, we are denying ourselves of a better world, you know.
Well, I would say that the 7-year-old Shakira is probably very proud of the work that you're doing now to promote education through the Barefoot Foundation and One Goal. And actually, the next question is more about this. So this one comes from Jay in Trinidad and Tobago, who asks, we here in Trinidad and Tobago have the opportunity for free education from ABC to PhD. I support your efforts with Pés Descalços in Colombia and One Goal. In the future, will you be expanding your foundation to other countries?
With Pés Descalços, or Barefoot Foundation, we are starting to build a school in Haiti, in one of the devastated areas after the earthquake. And recently with Mango and Unicef, we started this campaign by selling the Waka Waka t-shirts.
Was that one of the ones?
Yeah, that's one of the ones.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're being sold in all Mango stores around the world. And with this initiative, we'll be able to, and with the money that we can raise, with the profits of this T-shirt, we will be able to start some educational programs in South Africa. So these are our first steps outside Colombia. Since we've been working in Colombia for so long and we've gathered certain experience in working in the field, especially with children who have been displaced by violence, which is a similar situation in South Africa. You know, you have many children who have been displaced from Congo or Angola living there, who also are in need of a high-quality education. So these are some of the efforts that our Barefoot Foundation is doing. And in the other hand, with ALAS, it's another organization of which I'm also a part of. We are promoting early childhood development, early childhood education among the leaders of our region, of Latin America, Latin American region, and we've been already in two presidential summits, and this year we expect and we hope that we can achieve a regional commitment from every country to invest in that population that is the most vulnerable one, that group between the 0 and 6 years old, the children who are not receiving any kind of nutrition or stimulation or education in their very early years. So this is another effort, but they're all correlated. You know, it's all for the objective of promoting and advocating for this one thing which I believe so much, which is, you know, education for all as a strategy for development and as a strategy for world peace as well.
Absolutely. So one more question on the subject, and it was the top voted video question in the category from Lewis in the United States.